Hello there, my name is Dina. I am a designer and a furniture artist. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to apply decoupage paper like this, like a pro, even on a piece of furniture that has some curves on it like this one. In this tutorial, I'm going to share with you the full process of refinishing this sideboard. I'll apply a whole new decoupage paper here that's going to show you the technique and how you can do it as well. And then I'm going to show you how I'm going to go back and blend the piece together to look as one project. You're going to see what kind of new color option I'm going to have to the top and why. Iron it as if you are ironing a piece of fabric. You need to do is to look at the location where you want to apply your decoupage paper. This board has doors and drawers, so they're gonna go back. They have to be here. Make sure to have water with you. And I like to use those gloves that they fit perfectly and they are disposable paper. So I like to do this, and I have my water here. So I am going to be blending this image with this one, and you don't want this straight line here to be showing. So what you need to do is you bring the water here and spray. Okay. And what you do is you turn it like this, because this way you will be able to blend it in a more natural way. And keep this piece because we might use it later. I was cutting from here, then I most likely would have just used a knife and or a scissor. It's fine to have like a straight line, but whenever you are blending with another piece like this, you definitely want to use the water and turn it with your hand. I'm going to share with you one of my secrets that I think ends up in having better results for my projects is the fact that I use acrylic paint professional brush. I use the middle one. I don't use the most expensive one or the cheapest one. I get them at Michael's for the middle range. So they are more expensive than regular paintbrush, but I think they last longer and they are much easier to clean. So the first thing you need to do is basically lift this up, and you need to work in like small areas. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to focus on this area on the top first. And I like to use Mod Podge. I think it accomplishes same results as any other glue from the fancier brands. And I like that it comes in variety of shine and textures. Don't put a lot. The first layer, it's going to be messy. It's never going to be perfect. So even through the process, when you are, if you feel you are starting to get into some issues there, keep calm and keep going and trust the process. So in a big project like this, and that's another thing why I like this decoupage paper, in addition to the fact that it comes in different sizes. When I have a curvy surface like this, I like to use bigger image and also lighter background. And usually I go for the distressed look because I will have to do some adjustment here. So this is what you need to do. And I already know I'm going to cut. So see here, it's getting more wrinkly because there is a curve. So bring this guy here. And again, I'm going after a distressed look here. So it is totally fine. It's not perfect. And I know I can paint over some areas that I don't like. And that's why a lighter color would work better. So we will seal the top of the decoupage paper, but don't do it during the process. This is the one mistake that I used to do. Like I would go here, and then the minute I finish one side, I would go over it on the top. That becomes messy because then when you start rolling again and you want to get bubbles out, it gets messy. So work on that side first. And now, since we have this a little bit glued, I'm going to open it from here, as you can see. And the minute I start getting glue on those gloves, I will take them off and get a new one. So far they are okay. And you can also keep a towel next to you where you can keep cleaning them as well, because you really want your hands or gloves to be dry. See here, I already have an issue here, but go back. It's definitely much easier if you are doing it on a flat surface, but there is also beautiful pieces of furniture that has beautiful curves like this, and they also need some love. Okay, here we go. And especially when you have curve like this, you need to make sure you are covering everything from here. And now, this is a very important side here because it's the face of the, so I'm gonna make some cuts because I know I'm gonna be anyhow cutting here to open the door. So I have a big curve on the drawer here, so I wanna make sure I address this early on. So I'm gonna cut this now. And I'm using my knife because this is okay to be straight because it's going to be the opening of the door. So now I have this one separate, but I know where it needs to go. So it makes it easier for me to lift it up like this. Here we go. Also use this one. You always have to make sure that this stays clean, because the minute it gets glue on it, start ripping pieces that you want it to stay there. Okay, now, so here I know I am going to have the drawer opening. So this is an area where I can definitely cut now to make sure I perfect this side here. So I have wrinkles, and there is no way around this with a piece that has curves like this. But again, that's why this design is a good option, because you see this is all big white space where I can really fix with shades of paint. If it was smaller print, it will definitely not look as nice. And I'm going to make another cut here where the drawer is going to be opening, because this gives me space to basically get all the air bubbles out. And I'm gonna have to cut it anyhow. And when I put the piece, I definitely tried my best to have the areas where there is more color on like the more flat surface of the sideboard. So you can see like most of the face is coming on a flat surface. Okay. And I'm going to show you at the end how you can fix anything. See here where I have the drawer curve, gently I will pull this out, and here even, let's see, and put more. So I'm coming back to this side that I did earlier, and I'm using some of the pieces I was able to recover from, or extras I had from the second decoupage, and start adding here to fill up the gaps. That is really important. I'm gonna fill it here as well. So here I have a small area of air bubble, and I'm going to teach you a trick of how you can get rid of the air bubbles without ruining your decoupage paper, especially in this area. It's part of the horse face. So bring a small pen or a needle and poke a small tiny hole, and but also it does not have glue under it. So what I'm going to be doing, bring the syringe like this. I order them online from Amazon and they are very cheap. And what I would do is bring my glue and get the syringe in. And get some glue in my syringe, and where I poked the hole, get my syringe inside here it get into. Now pull all the air out and pull the glue back. So once you open the hole, you can take advantage of that and pull other air bubbles. So I'm gonna go back and make sure that I treat any air bubble like I have, like this, using my needle and my syringe. All my decoupage paper here, and I want to basically seal it one more time and give it a couple of hours to dry. And when I come back, I will be also sharing with you how I will be blending in the pieces and make sure I am fixing those. I'm gonna show you very easy ways, even if you don't know how to draw or paint. It's going to be very easy to follow. And I'm going to show you what choice I'm going to go with for the top, what hardware I'm going to be applying here. But before that, I did put the new gloves on, and there's my brush again. And I am keeping all my tools clean. And this is the part where I go back and seal and also check if there is still any air bubbles that I need to treat. I really like to go generous with my sealing because it will make it a lot easier to have it all dry before I start blending. And also I am going to show you how I'll be able to cut around the drawers and the other pieces, other parts. But I will wait till that dry and then we'll take the knife. I was able to open this one already, as I showed you from before. And this one also, I think it was already open from before because it, oh, not yet, not really. So I'm gonna let it dry and then I'll show you how I will cut and make sure it's opening, because again, this is meant to be a functional furniture piece. So we want to make sure we are able to open all the drawers and close them. Again, I am using my acrylic paint brush. And I apply with some pressure because I do have openings, so this is another good chance for me to make sure I'm getting out any air bubbles that I might have here. And I did let it dry a little bit before start doing this. Not very dry, because if there are still any air bubbles, you want them to go out before your piece completely dry, but also it's not super wet, because if I am doing this when it's still very wet, it will be ripping the decoupage paper out again. And this is where this brush really makes a big difference. It's a lot more gentle than the regular furniture paint brush, and it does not leave any marks, especially when I'm working with something like this. See, I do have some wrinkles, but again, this is part. See, I have some air bubble here, and I'm gonna make a small cut and get it out. And see, I made the cut where I have the lighter color of the background. It's very important where you choose to make. I'm bringing my syringe again. When you are doing this and trying to close the hole again, bring a towel and tap in, because it's still wet and you do not want to basically rip it apart, and see, now I am all bringing it together and closing the hole again. I have more here. So see, I'm doing this when my piece did dry a little bit, but not completely dry. So you need to feel it, and if you start feeling that the decoupage paper is coming out in your hand, then definitely it's not yet ready. I need it to be a little bit dry, so it adhered to the, oh, see, I ripped it all out. That's what I was talking about, but this is the good thing, is that you can just go back and fix it. And always have multiple tools next to you that you don't know when you might need them. So anything, multiple objects that are clean and dry would be good to have around. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry a little bit now, and then I go back and roll over it. The gaps in most of the painting or the decoupage paper on. almost done with the painting on the front of the sideboard, but not completely done. And before I finish up the final touches of the paint on the front, I want to add the new hardware I got. I got this from Amazon, and I like to see how this is going to go with the image. And I picked this brass style door handles because I think they will match the color, and I want to see how they will basically affect how they're gonna look with the image and do the final touches around that. And next, and then I'll let it dry and come back to do the final touches on the image. And after I put the hardware, I want to go back and finish sanding down and staining the top, because that's going to be a great choice. Okay, and now this is not fully dry yet, but I also want to see how there should be a hole here. Okay, this one definitely needs to be. Make my own gilding wax. I do not want to do gilding because obviously this is like more of a bronze brass style, and usually the gilding wax, which I like for corners better than the gilding, I like to do the gold leaf process when I'm working on big area, but I want to do just a little bit here, and it usually come in, I'm sure there is bronze or brass color, but I don't have it. So I have some leftovers of gold here, so I can work with this. And I'm going to use, this is bronze stone mica powder. I will also put the color and the exact name of the brand I'm using in my description. So I'm going to mix a little bit and see if I can get my own bronze color gilding. So now I'm starting the scrubbing process, and as you can see, it's really working very well. I have paint that's still wet here. I have a good chance of trying to remove as much paint as possible out to minimize the sanding process I need to do. Keep spreading the color this way, and I'll see how it's gonna come out. While I'm waiting on my decoupage paper, the Mod Podge layer to dry before I can apply any wax here, I'm going to start preparing my wax, and I'm going to show you how you can make your own cost-effective wax. One of the things that I find to be very underutilized is the power of wax. Wax is a very good idea to apply as a final coat to seal your work and protect your furniture, but also you can use it to enhance your project by combining some of the mica powder and use different shades of wax. What I'm using now is the Bear brand that I got from Home Depot, which is more cost effective than the boutique brands. I find the other boutique brands to spread smoother, to be fair, and they are definitely worth it, but for big projects like that, it's really going to get very costly for me. So one of the things I like to apply multiple layers of wax to my project. One good trick to get them ready, so what I did, I brought those two cans yesterday night and I put them next to the heater vent in my house. It's winter now, so we have it going on, so now it's warm. And definitely having your wax warmed overnight. You don't want to boil it or get it very hot. If you live in a very warm area, put it outside. But here it's winter now, so I put it next to my vent, and you'll see how it will basically flow smoother for me. So I'm using the clear one from Bear, and I'm using the white one. I find their white brand to be smooth anyhow, and see now after basically putting it next to my heater is very liquid. This one, the clear one, which I usually need, is more of, it's harder to spread sometime. So see, after I put it next to the vent overnight, now it's definitely much easier to work with. So I'm gonna get some of the clear one into a paper plate here to get my wax ready. Especially this one because it comes a little bit clumsy. Putting it in a plate like this, after making sure it's warm, and mixing it like this, getting it prepared, is an extra step of work, but I feel I save a lot of money by doing this, because then it will spread smoothly with me, as it would be the case with like the boutique brands wax. See, now it becomes a lot easier to work with. So I'm going to start with waxing the top, and I'm not sure if I'm going to apply any mica powder on the top. I will experiment with a few things, so I am not gonna mix any mica powder right yet. So I have the bronze stone color that I like, and I'm going to try and see if this is going to look nice with my combination, especially where I have where I did the aging. So instead of mixing it, I'm going to put some on my board directly and see how it's going to come out. Okay, this is more than what I should have started with. So I'm going to do my wax here and mixing it and see if I like it. And actually it looks nice, so I'm going to keep going with it. So now since I like it, I'm going to bring it back here to my wax, and this is how you can make your own colored wax, and you can mix multiple. So now this is getting a little bit darker than what I would like it to be, so I'm gonna bring the white wax and mix it here. Make it a little bit lighter. Okay, now I'm going to basically finish the gold on the top as well. So this is where I added to the side. I want to make sure that that it's definitely covering, because also it's wax and it's filling in some of the gaps and scratches I had. I'm gonna go back to this dent here and see if this is something can help with it. My sideboard look like now. It's starting to come together nicely, and I still have scratches here that I need to work around, but also I still want a more of a statement, and there's nothing like gold leaf when it comes to a statement. But also all the gold leaf that I am able to find in the market are, when it comes to the metallic colors, like the golden, there is this very bright gold, which is obviously not a good fit since I have more of a brown and a bronze feel to my project. This is the bronze color, or this is like the more bronze color I can find, which comes out a little bit reddish, and I actually don't like it that much in general. It does work in some projects, but not in the majority of them. I need more of a bronze gold leaf that I could not find in the market. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I'm going to make my own bronze color gold leaf. So I'm going to use these mica powder, large mica flake, that they come in the bronze color, but obviously they are flakes. They cannot be used as a gold leaf. And I use this a lot in my resin work, so I'm going to try and make them into gold leaf. So what you need is bring a food mixer or processor. Obviously this is something you cannot use, something that I'm only using for my projects, my art projects. So I'm going to have put my bronze leaf here. This is mica, large mica flakes, and they come in a variety of colors. So this is how it looks so far, and I need to mix it a little bit more and do more color is really pretty, but also I want it to be a little bit darker for my project. So I'm going to use again the bronze stone mica powder that I used earlier in my wax. And also this is a way where it make it look more similar to the color shades I already have. So I'm gonna mix it with nice enough. Putting my gloves here, and I'm going to be using water-based adhesive for gold leaf. Always use material that is water-based. And I'm going to seal it definitely with water-based varnish. So I'm going to apply a lot here because I want it to be in. And what I'm doing, I am applying it in between the transition from the darker to the gold wax I had here. And I want to also have it come a little bit on the front of the sideboard. So it's ready now. And I'm going to check now to see if my bronze gold leaf adhere to the surface here. And it seems everything is dry here. Whatever leftovers I might have. I need to do more blending in, so I'm going to use this bronze color that I used on the sideboard and applying some here. I'm also mixing it here, so I'm blending in. So I'm almost done with the top of my sideboard. I'm going to do some final touches, and I'm going to be spraying some of the metallic gold to give it the final look I need. And when you are using something like this, especially on a project that's very high maintenance like this one right now, because it's the final stage and any mistake can really ruin my project, test it on another surface and make sure that your spray is working good, and have a towel just in case you need to do cleanup. So I'm just going to do just a little bit here and there. I'm going to let it dry now, and then I'm going to seal it with water-based varnish. I'm also going to do a little bit spraying here, not much. Be careful, very gentle, and oops. The top is dry now and it's ready to be sealed. I'm going to be using white based varnish. I did apply some white wax on some of the areas here earlier to get it a little bit lighter. And I did use the white wax from Bayer. And I was going to go back with a transparent wax for the final seal, but I did like a lot when I did the white based varnish on the top. I like the shimmer it has, and I like the contrast between the fact that this is a distressed look sideboard and country style and western style, so it has a wide edge to it, but also there is the gold, and I want to create a little bit of a shimmer and a gold. I like the contrast between, you know, it being distressed but also some glam.